Ba, 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 ba. Just to touch on it a little bit. As you can see, like I had the slot for the sticker, and then obviously I had to make a sticker. So one of the first sticker ones that I made was a tribute to bbno Money, one of my favorite kind of rappers right now. And I made like the disc of his actual album, which was really cool. And you can see here I actually changed up a lot of the textures. So rather than the Sony logo, we're getting the album name. And instead of using like all the standard like disc stuff, we can just put whatever text we want. So I literally just lifted his like signature off of one of his beanies that he had, and I put it here and stuff, and then everything else I just added myself. This is literally just the album cover for the album, and I kind of formatted it to this kind of ratio. And then the shader itself, I love it, the glass shader. It has a really like flexibleness to it where I can just go and basically change this color here. And you can get some really cool stuff going on where it just looks like colored glass, you know, and I don't have to do anything, and you're just getting it like out of the box. So that was nice. I was able to just make it like his blue, and it just looked like on brand, and it looked right, and I didn't have to do too much editing to the shader. Just applying obviously like a different texture map for stuff. But this was a fun little way to like take the mini disc and just use it. Or no, this is a different version I made. This is kind of using the plastic shader that I told you about from the PS1 memory cards that I created. And I applied it to the mini disc to kind of get that old school plastic kind of feel. Simple one, fun. I think it was this. Yeah, no. This is all the different plastic colors. You can see here, I'm doing the PS1 memory card effect, and I told you like if you offset it kind of slightly off, you get more of a gradient than you do the actual color. So that was me like offsetting a little bit between the green and the orange, and you get this nice like funky kind of 2000s like color scheme here. One last one, this is the colored geometry node animation that I put together. And you can see here, this is the same concept that I did with the PS1 memory card geometry node kind of technique. I combine the mesh to just one mesh. Like I join all the different pieces together down so that it just has like, it's just one thing to work with. But it's still made up of all the different materials. Like if I look at this and I were to actually inspect the materials on it, you can see I have a slot for just everything. Or no, is it this? Whoop, there you go. I have a slot for everything. So I have a slot for the glass, I have a slot for the metal, I have a slot for the CD itself, but it's just one mesh. Really handy. And I take that and I duplicated it a couple times, and I created different materials for a red one and a blue one, and then obviously the clear one that we had before. And then with that, I can come here and I have just, it's a cube. You can see I just created a cube, threw a geometry node on it, and with that geometry node, I basically take a mesh line and I apply the collection that we saw of mini discs to that line as instances on points. So you can see here, this is the collection of mini discs. We apply them as instances to that mesh line. And I can even change the order of the mini discs here because I had to. And you can see I can put the red one in front, the blue one in front, just shuffle the order if I need. I animate it by basically taking the line that I create initially and I animate that. You know, my goal is to basically get it animated before I have the meshes applied as instances, because then it gets a little more complicated to animate, or it's just not as smooth looking. Because what I'm looking to do is like animate a line and then have the things follow that line versus like animating objects applied to a line and then warping those or something, you know? So here, let me show you a preview of the animation. It basically just goes up and down, and it like comes back to the center to like repeat. So we don't want the geo nodes, which we were already there. So to do that, basically I take the line, which is just a straight line. It's just a line that goes like straight. I go and I offset it a little bit. So for each index, I kind of like push it out. So you can see that this kind of just offsets them a little bit like staggered per their position. Yeah, I thought it was an index, but it's position. Cool. So if I undo that, we can come down here and see I multiply that offset with a wave texture. And this is basically the bread and butter of the up and down animation. And you can see here to animate the wave, we animate the wave offset, or the phase offset rather. And if you set that to, you can see here I do 6.283. That is basically, I think I can type it in here, pi times 2. So it goes like 2 full circle rotations. So it'll come back to exactly where it started. I think I do 2 of them because it goes up and down. And I want it to do that full cycle of up and down, so it has to actually technically go 2 cycles. Wave textures, I don't know. That one's some other math mystery. I don't know necessarily off the top of my head. But I basically take that wave texture, and the wave texture, like I said, like, whoop, its goal is to make things move like a wave. So it's exactly how it sounds. Things will go and follow this kind of like sine-like movement of positioning. And I take that and I map it to only like go between -1 and 1. So it controls the range of the animation here. So you can see maybe here. See here. Like it'll just make it go a little further down or a little further up. And to figure out these values, these magic numbers, I basically just like went and just like looked at it. I was like, when is it at the highest point? I need to bring it down a little bit. When is it at the lowest point? I need to bring it up a little bit. And I just manually kind of touched it up. So that animates the line. The line, because the line is animating, the things move along with the line that's animating. And I rotate it slightly. So as you can see, like as they're coming up and down, they also do this thing where they like rotate a little to the side and a little back. And that's basically done using just this one value node here that I just keyframe out. And I just have it go between like negative this value and positive this value. And just rotate it between the two. But yeah. This one was a nice, like, easy, fun one to put together. And I love just, like, the effects of the refraction shader that we were getting here with this, like, lighting setup. Just these, like, beams that were coming across, like, Lux. Loved it. Really good showcasing of, like, the shader and stuff.